You got it
right
here.
Okay.
We got to speed that camera. Now you can speed this camera.
Okay.
Does it? How? I'm just asking. Melinda.
Melanie. Just say Mel. Mel.
Mel.
Yeah.
No.
Is it okay on my left? Does it work either way?
That way's better because then your hand rests. It looks good. That'll keep you sitting up.
The only thing that you have to worry about is your posture. Otherwise, let everything just flow.
Yeah, I don't. What I don't want is leaning back. I want it to
Yeah.
be, if anything, leaning in.
Gotcha.
So how's this look?
You're perfect. You're fine.
Yeah. Perfect.
You're good. You look better than
Just
the
long
movie.
as you keep it here.
Well, I'm been working out.
Yeah, it looks like it. I could tell.
Yeah. Still
Oh, sorry,
still
you guys.
working on it.
Don't worry about it.
Trying
Hey,
to
Earl, is that one speeding?
Yeah, speeding.
How
Yeah,
come,
we're gone.
how come the red light's not blinking?
to sit in this position, like I'm holding my core
Okay, it's
muscles
going.
Yeah.
to stay.
It's going. It's going.
It's a workout.
So am I.
it is a workout for me to stand like this.
Okay, we're there.
Okay, you rolling?
Yes.
What's your
Earl, you rolling? I'm Fernando.
Fernando, nice to meet you.
Aaron, good to meet you. You know, we're starting this right now, by the way. This
Okay.
interview.
Fernando.
Yes, Aaron. And what made you pick yourself as the main actor?
Oh, well, that's kind of a simple answer. You know, when I was like 2 years into writing the script, and I was writing the script for about like 3.5 or 4 years, but 2 years in, I spoke to my father, who is one of the executive producers, and I was getting nervous about acting in a feature film, which I had never acted professionally before. I said to my dad, maybe should we possibly consider casting someone else as Benjamin Glass? And my dad immediately responded, no way. He says, I'm not doing the movie unless you're starring in it. And I was like, okay, well that makes my choice pretty easy then.
Yeah. After I saw the movie, this was almost like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. No one else could have played that role but you.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, that's a compliment. Also,
That's what my dad felt too. He said we wouldn't be able to get someone who could do it like me.
yeah, no, you were like just so perfect in it. Seriously.
Thank you.
What was the biggest challenges on actually doing this whole film, besides you being the actor, director, writer,
And editor.
and editor, and hairstylist?
Not hairstyles. Well, I mean, it sounds like a lame answer, but in Q&As, people ask me that, and I always say it was everything. Like every single second of the movie was hard. Making the movie from start to finish was 4.5 years of hard work, and it was all hard.
Yeah. How'd you get Eric Roberts and Rosie Perez?
Well, with Rosie Perez, we thought she would be perfect for the role of the psychiatrist, but I thought that her role was not significant enough in my script for a star like her. So I went back to the script and I spent 3 months rewriting the psychiatrist to make her a much more important character in the story. Like not just more screen time, but also like has more an effect on the story. And then before we went to Rosie Perez, and then we went to her, and she loved the script, and then she wanted to speak to me on the phone and see my latest work. So I sent her my thesis, short film, from college, and when I was on the phone with her for the first time, I was just like so nervous. I was like panicking practically because she hadn't said yes yet, and I was very starstruck also.
Of course, it's Rosie Perez.
And Eric, we thought he would be really perfect for the role of Montgomery Pennington, and I think he's very funny in the movie. I mean, he gets a lot of laughs, and every time I watch it, I laugh because he's hilarious.
Right. One thing I loved about your film is this one thing that's important to me in all films: the pace of it. Like it just gets to points really fast. There's a lot of quick cuts. It just really flows. So how do you feel about the way you being the editor and the director that helped the pace of the movie really go?
It happened in all 3 stages. It happened in the writing, in the directing, and the editing, in terms of deciding how the pacing was going to be. But Sorry, what was your question?
Just about the pace. The pace is really fast
Oh,
and
okay.
really well done. A bunch of other love story movies are like they drag on. Yours moves. It constantly goes.
Right. Well, I've learned in school, and I've messed around with it, with editing film. When you're editing movies, you want to start the scene at the latest point possible, and then cut the scene out at the earliest point possible, because anything before that or after that is not essential. And you want the story to be, you want every frame of the movie to matter, and to, I mean, it's true what Quentin Tarantino said in this editing documentary I watched. He said that every single frame is like a note in a melody. It really is that important. So, you have to, sometimes the way to make it seem like it's going by faster and you're enjoying it, sometimes that's achieved by actually slowing down the cuts to make the scene work.
Gotcha.
So it's not necessarily always fast cuts that makes it do that. Sometimes it's slowing it down that does it.
Gotcha. Here's another compliment question. How come, and this is going to be actually for Eric Roberts too, but mostly for him, but now I decided to make it for you. How come big studios can't make a good little film like this, like you did?
Oh, because they're all making superhero movies, mostly. And then the indie films that they're making are like indie films with like $60 million budgets with Scarlett Johansson, Adam Driver, and those are like indie films, but sort of not.
So what kind of advantage do you think you have?
This kind of movie, I think they don't think it makes any money. So, and they would probably be right. I mean, because this kind of an indie film like this could not, do well in movie theaters. But we do have a lot of optimism about how it's going to do on video on demand and streaming, which we're going to do soon, and I think that's going to I think that will come out really well, actually.
I consider this film kind of like Fault in Your Stars, that film. It did okay in the theaters, but it did really well on the back end. Yeah, I think this film has the potential to be that kind of like a great love story film, to be kind of cultish and last.
That would be great. I mean, any viewers I can get, like, I am very appreciative of it. Like, I just feel so lucky that I got to make this film, and then I could put it online, and potentially like a lot of people could see it. I really wanted to tell this story, so it feels really great to show it to people.
Yeah, well, you get down in this film. I'm not trying to give it away, but you get some pretty cool scenes.
Yeah, I mean, there's scenes where my character is like manic and euphoric.
That's not what I meant.
Oh, what do you?
I meant like the very intimate scenes. Those are the scenes that I'm talking about, that you got down, you really got, you got into it. It made the film deep and
right. Like scenes in the psych ward, or like the scene with the dad in the car after the paintball, things like that.
The scene of you guys in bed. The first
Yeah, when my character Ben reveals something about himself to Emma that he hasn't told anyone. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I rehearsed that. It was like a mini monologue I had. I rehearsed that for many hours, for many days, actually, because I was struggling with it, and I knew I was. So I was getting acting coaching, and I was working a lot on that monologue, because when I started doing it, it just sucked. So, I worked hard, to get it up to an honest place, actually, in that, counterintuitively, you would think that a serious monologue like that, where you're revealing something really personal about yourself, that you could be very vulnerable, you would think that the actor would be like, okay, I'm supposed to be sad or something. But I did it in a way where I was actually trying to entertain, my character. I was trying to entertain Emma Taylor, even though I was talking about something so serious, because when I went with the grain of the text, it read as faulty. But when I went against the grain of the text, like, hey, isn't it cool that I did this? Like, it just became more intimate and more truthful.
Do you think now that you've made Inside the Rain, on your next film, everything you learned from that film, what are you going to do differently now?
Well,
on your next film, like what now that you, things that happened in that film, the mistakes, the weather, who knows? I know things happen on films. It's part of the way it goes. So what did you do? What are you going to do now differently? You think?
Well, it's a good question. It's a good question. I definitely learned a lot from making this feature. It was my first feature film. Definitely learned a lot. But the next project I'm working on, it's too early to say anything about it. But I can tell you that I ordered 60 sci-fi novels on Amazon, and I'm reading them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I meant like the details. Like, are you going to use different kind of cameras? Are you going to be not the writer next time? Or are you going to be not the, what are you going to like? Well, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Well, one thing I learned with this movie, Inside the Rain, is that no one will come to you with like a silver platter and say, here's an amazing script and here's an amazing cast, here's an amazing, like, if you don't have the money, then you got to do it all yourself. I mean, that's the reason why I wrote, directed, starred, and edited. I mean, we looked for editors, but none of them, that we could afford, who were free, weren't very good. I didn't like their reels, so I was like, against the producer's wishes, I was like, I'm editing this because I know I could do a better job than they can do it. So, I mean, you have to be very self-sufficient. So, to answer your question, I'm forgetting how to answer your question.
You're answering it. Yeah.
Technically, like people are saying like, oh, we'd make another rom-com, blah, 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 and I'm not sure, like, I want to do another rom-com right now, because I feel like with this film, I said everything I had to say. Like, it doesn't feel like I have anything left to say about romantic comedy.
No, do your sci-fi.
Yeah, but all I can say though is that I've ordered 60 sci-fi novels, because I consider it research, because I'm really trying to immerse myself in it. I'm interested in making a feature film or doing a TV show. So also I would be writing a TV show, because I don't want to be a gun for hire necessarily on TV shows, which is what they do. Like, I'd rather be the person running the show, which is always the writers. So if I was doing TV, I'd want to be the main writer.
Gotcha.
I hope it doesn't sound like a megalomaniac, but
right.
It's just I like being an artist, and I'm creating it. I'm not just like a gun for hire. I mean, I would totally do that, but that's not my like dream.
Aaron, well, I got to close it out. You kick butt on every aspect of it, so I've been telling my friends about it, and I'm going to promote it on FabTV as much as possible, and I just can't wait to see your next sci-fi project.
Oh, definitely. And if it's not sci-fi, it'll be something else, but I'm definitely am working on a sci-fi thing, and it's so great to talk with you. Thanks so much for watching my movie. I appreciate it.
And now I'm going to have to watch it again with my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it by myself, so now
maybe it'll be, maybe things will turn up well after watching it.
Right, because of those scenes.
Romantic scenes, yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
All right, thank you
Good
so
job.
much.
All right.
That was
good practice, though, right? That was good practice?
That was a good practice one. Now we're ready to do it.
All right, let me get a photo with me and Aaron. No touching.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, honey.
No touching.
We got it. And one other thing that happened.